Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to be taking a look at the G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, version 1, Grand Slam. This is another classic review where we go back in time and we take a look at some of these G.I. Joe figures. We're going to try and look at as many as possible, and I do have a very large collection, so hopefully I'm able to go through. Maybe I'm able to complete that collection. I don't know. That's a large thing to be asking. But anyway, we're going to be taking a look at Grand Slam. This is the first time looking at this buck. And yes, he has the baseball catcher's uniform on, straight down to the stirrups right there. But yes, this was a vehicle driver. This is version 1, so he has a straight arm. We're going to take a look at it, look at all this detail. If you're wondering why I'm looking at this stuff, well, as I started to review the G.I. Joe Classified and compare them, I noticed all this detail the designers put into that I don't think most of us notice. So I like going back, pulling this out. It gives me a reason to re-look at all my G.I. Joe stuff. All the original stuff as Classified has really taken over what I play around with, what I shoot photos with, and what I do stuff like that. So anyway, we're going to take a look at this. Hopefully it takes you back, gives you some sort of happy memories from when you were a kid. So here we are, going to take a look at them, and I know you're asking, where's the Hal at? Well, that might come next. So anyway, let's just get right into this. But if you like this type of stuff, you like these classic reviews that I've been doing, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a classic review of the G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. All right, here we go, and we have Grand Slam, and this is the first time I'm going to be able to take a look at this buck, and this is where he wears all the catcher pads. Even as a kid, I wondered why he was wearing pads for baseball catchers. So anyway, we'll pop the helmet off. First off, we'll pop that visor off. So the helmet, as we've kind of already discussed, they are almost always a different color to match the figure. I don't know how well they are, and you might be watching it going on some of these, hey, that's not the right helmet, and I do apologize if not. It is hard to match their colors with all the different helmets that you have. So anyway, you do have just this little bit of earpiece right up here, and then you have the hole here that works for the visor right there. And these things pretty much fit any of their heads because they're all made very similar. As for the visor, which is right here, I mentioned earlier, this is a 3D printed one. This is not the original. I don't have any original ones, so I don't need anyone getting mad at me. But these are very similar. It has a little lip right here. If I remember correctly, that's the same. And then they just kind of fit right over it. And if I do remember correctly, there was a lip on the original ones so that it could actually stop right here. Now usually, or a lot of times, it meant it would crash into the top of the helmet, so you'd flip it around either way. Now as for Grand Slam, and as I mentioned, I recently acquired this one just so I could do this series and have all of Series 1. This guy is a straight arm. So looking at him, we're looking at having the exact same head as we had with Grunt, but the paint is different. So you have your brown eyebrows, brown eyes, and brown hair. And I've always thought the eyes were pretty good. I mentioned that before. Look at the detail right in the cheekbones. That looks good. Then you have the nice chin right here. So just the detail with the nose and just everything is so good. And they tried to make it look like there's an actual hair. Now having the exact same figure, and let's see here, I have Grunt sitting right here. You know, once you start changing up the color and once you put different helmets on and the visors, different outfit, they do look different enough when you were playing with them. Again, we were playing with Army men. They were all the same. We didn't care. So, as for the design on this guy, I guess I understood that the padding was because he had something to do with lasers. Flash has the exact same type of gear, so that's what we're going to see when we see Flash. So, up here top, this looks more like it's a sturdier type of, you know, leather or Kevlar maybe. Just a little bit of red right there, and then it looks like you have this padding. All right, now what was the padding for? I can't actually tell you, but they do make these little squares that just give it a nice little look to it, and then of course some nice squares right up here. No pouches right here. Now that would probably actually make sense because you don't want a laser, or maybe your laser cannon snagging on anything. I don't really know. He does not have the Y. His is the actual double bands going down it, so it's kind of a square. And then he has these long gloves, all right? Again, he's dealing with lasers, real hot stuff. I'm assuming on that cannon there's a lot of things that it can burn you, so he's really protected, and I'm assuming that's probably what this is for. Here we have the belt with the H, which was the Hasbro logo. I know I never noticed as a kid that that's what it was. It got pointed out, and of course they changed it with the swivel arm. You got the 3 little belt loops that is actually just showing that this belt is going to stay in place where it should be. And then we get to the padding on the thighs. Again, I guess you need to be protected as well as possible. And then as you kind of go right down here, you have the stirrups. And this guy is wearing a baseball uniform. He is wearing a catcher's uniform. They should have just given him a catcher's mask. And then you have these, I have no idea what the calf piece is, what that's supposed to do. But there it is, okay? Now once you arm him up, now he does not have a gun, all right? Because he came with the HAL. I would like to say that none of the vehicle drivers had guns, but that would be a complete lie because Steeler has an Uzi, all right? So here, and again, I actually only purchased one of these visors. I'll probably go purchase the other 3 that I need. So, as I mentioned, this kind of just stops right here. I actually like it the other way because there's, again, that little lip. And I feel like when it's upside down, and I'm trying to think, I feel like I remember back in the day the same thing, and I always liked them the other way. It just seems to fit just a little bit better, and it stays in place. So again, you go on eBay, I think they were like $6 or $7, and then it was $4 shipping, which I think is kind of outrageous, but whatever. I needed to do it for these videos. I don't think I've made $6 off these videos. I'm already in the hole. But either way, there is your Grand Slam. As for articulation, his head could turn side to side. There is his T-pose. This guy is actually pretty tight. No swivel arm, so we talked about this. This really causes thumbs to break, but he didn't have any weapons, so you didn't really have to worry about it. It turns side to side because there's an O-ring. And if you don't know what an O-ring is, inside there, this one actually probably needs to be replaced. It's a rubber band, and that's what would eventually snap. Easy to replace, easy to fix. There's a Jean-Claude Van Damme, but this guy, like I mentioned in other reviews, he's meant to be sitting there with an L, which is really going to help to be on the HAL. And then his knees have a 90-degree bend also, so he can sit properly. And that right there, well, that's your Grand Slam. All right, so there you go. That is the classic review of this G.I. Joe Real American Hero Grand Slam. This is the straight arm. I don't have a swivel arm. I'd much rather have a swivel arm. But this was the one that was available at a decent price. Like I said, I probably haven't even made nearly enough money to cover the price of this little visor doing these reviews. You don't make a lot of money on YouTube, and that's perfectly fine. That's not why we do this. But some people think that it is. I don't get it. Anyway, I love going back, taking a look at this detail. I mentioned before, I think once we get past Season 1 or Series 1, man, we're really going to see a change because so many new molds are used and almost everyone is individual. But till then, I got this new one here. And then when we get the flash, I can say, hey, we've already shown this buck. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. You stayed this long. Please take a second. You clearly like this stuff. You're thinking, hey, you know what? This guy makes awesome videos. And you're right. I do. please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop one of these classic reviews. Now, I'm taking off. You're still here and you're like, God, I need another one. And right up here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you a link to the Grunt. And down here is a playlist of all the other classic reviews that I've done. Take care.